What I call the Michael Saylor era, which started about 2 years ago, was really a step up. It was really the beginning of Bitcoin as a serious professional industry, I would say. And so for 8 years though, you had a lot of shit going on. Michael Saylor kind of kicked off a new era. I call it the Michael Saylor era that we're in now. The power is shifting from the fiat money world to the Bitcoin world. And the Bitcoiners are starting to have a lot of political clout in Washington. They're having political clout in different countries around the world. They're having clout within corporations that are pushing for greater Bitcoin exposure on the balance sheet. So Bitcoin is becoming, as we've often said, it's such a perfect asset and such perfect money, and it's so indisputably perfect that its path toward this type of domination of the financial world was inevitable, as everybody says, and so now we're seeing that play out. It comes from the fact that if you've been doing this for almost 12 years, you're starting from a position where literally 100% of the people on planet Earth were against this idea or hated this idea or refused to accept this idea. And it's been a struggle to get people to look at this idea for 12 years. So Bitcoin is very, very different in that respect, because if you come up with something like, a better mousetrap, right? The world will be the path to your door. Innovation creates demand and creates all kinds of momentum economically, and we've seen this in many industries, but with Bitcoin, because you bring innovation to money, actually the first response anyone has is to throw up, because you're taking something that they hold dear to their psyche, in their consciousness, and you're saying that's wrong. Everything you've thought about money is actually wrong. And nobody wants to accept that. Nobody wants to deal with that. So from the very beginning, when you keep telling people you're wrong, the response is, well, you're toxic. You're toxic. You're a maximalist. That's what people respond, because they're being told that they're wrong. The IMF clearly doesn't like this, and we just had a story this past week where Bitcoiners were on the New York Post. They had a story that Bitcoiners are basically psychopaths, and the Bitcoin is basically evil. Again, I return to this is the whole history, as the exorcism that we've lived for 12 years, having to deal with this denial by the vast majority of the population, who do not want to reconsider or consider that everything they have believed about money is false, and yet that's where we're at. Everything everyone believes about money is false. Even the gold bugs, gold bugs who you would think would be more sympathetic to Bitcoin, most of them are also hate Bitcoin because it challenges everything they believe about gold. So you end up being, if you're a Bitcoin maximalist, you're a hated figure, because nobody wants to face the fact that they've been dead wrong their whole lives about something very basic like money. And so when you destroy that model, no one's going to pat you on the back and say, thank you for crushing my worldview. Thank you for destroying the paradigms upon which I've based my entire existence. No, they're going to hate you for that. But it doesn't change the fact that Bitcoin's on this unstoppable path, unstoppable vector. And what we say is, you don't change Bitcoin, Bitcoin changes you. Just, let it happen. You've been wrong your whole life, but it doesn't mean that you can't start to be right about what's happening.